Charles here. Welcome to Backroads Living. We certainly appreciate you stopping by and visiting our channel today. If you're not a regular visitor or subscriber to our channel, we'd ask that you like the video, that you subscribe to our channel, and that when the bell icon appears, that you ring that bell so you'll be notified of new videos as we upload them. Now, we've been talking a whole lot about food shortages, prepping for beginners, new preppers, things that we've been purchasing at the grocery and the big box stores to add to our preps and things like that. And today, or yesterday, we uploaded a video that we discussed comments and questions from our audience, from you guys. And you don't know how much I appreciate these comments you all leave, and the questions you have, and a lot of you, like I say, are much more knowledgeable about certain things and in certain areas than I am, and it really helps me, and it helps the other followers on this channel, subscribers, who read these comments. So your comments are invaluable. Don't ever think that it's not worthwhile commenting, because it most certainly is. Somebody will learn something, even if it's just a question that's answered. Now, we have had numerous, I couldn't count the times that I've had people on this channel, especially in the live feeds on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to try to get back to doing that every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We have people on there that hang out with us during that live broadcast that they're just full of knowledge of prepping, preserving foods, canning, all that kind of stuff. And if you would like to find out things and learn how to do a lot of things and find good advice on a lot of things, that is a really good place to be on Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is right here at Backroads Living. Now, we're going to talk today again about some of your comments and some of the questions and things that have been said about food storage, the economy, and prepping. These are all things that affect us as preppers. So let's look into that just a second, and we'll get there in just a second. But first, again, I want to invite you to our Locals channel. It's Backroads Living Hangouts over on locals.com. It is a site kind of like Patreon, that if you would like to support us in any way, you can over there. If you don't, that's okay, but know ahead of time that there are videos over there that are premium videos that only people who support us can watch. And I am not asking you to go over there and spend a penny. If you don't want to, don't. Just don't, okay? Know that ahead of time. If you'd like to, you're welcome to. That's just one way to support us, if you'd like to do that. And the link to that channel is in the description box below. So if you'd like to check it out, you're more than welcome to. One of the first things I want to mention here in this video today about food storage, the economy, and prepping is, in the past I've talked a lot about prepping and getting our pantries ready and having food put back so we can have things that we need in emergencies. And you know, there's all kinds of emergencies that take place. People know that. You know, you have fires and tornadoes and earthquakes and floods and you know, power outages, electrical grids down, you know, storms, all kinds of things that can create havoc in your life. A loss of a family member that worked and paid the bills or bought the groceries. Somebody gets sick and not able to work for a while, and you're not able to purchase groceries for a while. All kinds of things like that can go wrong. And if you've got a good, strong working pantry, and a pantry a separate pantry that's put back for storage, then you can get by for a long time. I mean a long time as far as your food is concerned, and not have to worry about going hungry and continue to feed your family. That's, you know, it's just so important to have a good, strong pantry, both a working pantry and a storage pantry. And you can use them both in the same area. It doesn't matter, as long as you know what's what. But anyway, One of the things we want to bring up in this is our pets again. We had Charlotte mention this. She said if you have indoor pets, better stock up. Here's something we've not been saying. We've been talking about buying cat food and dog food. But if you've got cats inside, if you have cats inside, stock up on cat litter. And don't forget that those boxes that the cat litter come in, not the box, but the plastic jug, if you buy the big ones, the plastic jugs that the cat litter comes in can be used for water storage. Rinse them out good. After you get done, let them air out, and then you can use them for water storage. Nothing wrong with that. You know, put rainwater in them, whatever you want to do, but you can use them for water storage. Get you an extra litter pan, not to mention baking soda for odor control, heavy duty trash bags for used litter. Don't store dry cat food for long term. It will become rancid. Right. I heard somebody say maybe 8 months on the dry cat food. If I missed that, let me know. Somebody comment that knows for sure on the dry cat food how long it can be stored. Canned food is better for prepping. Also, a few gallons of water for them as well. Add it to the pet preps. Yes, if you live in an area that you don't have access to water and you're putting back water for yourself, try to put some water back for your pets as well. It doesn't have to be filtered water or whatever. They can drink rainwater. They can drink that kind of stuff if necessary. But anyway, think of your pets as well as yourself when you're doing your storage. MS Madre said the best way to keep your stomach managed. Now, we talked about some vitamins here a while back, and this past week we also did a video on what we purchased at Walmart. And one of the things we purchased were those large bottles of Equate antacid, like Tums. And I said that from time to time that we take one of those when it's necessary. Now, this comment says that the best way to keep your stomach managed is to put a tablespoon of organic apple cider vinegar with the mother, plus a tablespoon of pure lemon juice in a large cup of water. Add a piece of fruit sweetener and it tastes like lemonade. ACV pH balances your body and as a result helps with a lot of ailments including stomach acid. Better for you than those acid pills. And I agree with you 110%. It is much, much better for you than acid pills. And we rarely take one of those, but from time to time I'll take one at night before I go to bed if I've had something that I think that could possibly upset my stomach in the night. But we do take the apple cider vinegar from time to time. Sometimes we forget it. That's something that we need to get into a habit of daily. Doing this daily would be good for all of us, to do that tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a tablespoon of something like honey or lemon juice or anything like that, but a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And what Sandy and I do is we heat up like a half a cup of water, or maybe even a cup of water, and we put a tablespoon of lemon juice and a tablespoon of honey, stir that up and drink it. And that does us just fine as far as the taste is concerned. But yes, apple cider vinegar is a good thing to have in your preps. Now, one of the things that we've talked about also is these shelf-stable goods, the canned goods. And we buy them because sometimes they're dated out 2 years, sometimes 3 years, dated like that. And I looked up on the USDA about canned goods and how long they're good for. So it's important to know this because this will really help you, especially if you're a new prepper or if you hadn't known this before about canned goods and how long they'll last on your shelves, okay? This comes from the USDA and I'm going to read it word for word for you. It is a knowledge article that they published. It says, store commercially canned foods and other shelf-stable products in a cool, dry place. Never put them above the stove, under the sink, in a damp garage or basement, or any place exposed to high or low temperatures. You don't want it fluctuating, high temperature or real low temperatures. You want a mid-range temperature, steady temperature. It says high acid foods such as tomatoes and other fruit will keep their best quality up to 18 months. So canned tomatoes, high acid, your fruits, things like that, up to 18 months. Low acid foods such as meat and vegetables will keep 2 to 5 years. If cans are in good condition, no dents, swelling, or rust, and have been stored in a cool, clean, dry place, they are safe indefinitely. Did you hear that word? The USDA said they would be safe indefinitely, these meats and vegetables. While extremely rare, this is rare, a toxin produced by botulism is a worse danger in canned goods. Never use food from containers that show possible botulism. Warnings: leaking, bulging, or badly dented cans, cracked jars or jars with a loose bulging lid, canned food with a foul odor, or any container that spurts liquid when opening. Even a minuscule amount of botulism toxin can be deadly. Remember that. It's important to remember these things. Can linings might discolor or corrode when metal reacts with high acid foods such as tomatoes or pineapples. As long as the can is in good shape, the contents should be safe to eat. Although the taste, texture, and nutritional value of the food can diminish over time, home canned food should be used within 1 year. Now that's not true. The USDA obviously does not can their own foods, home can their own foods, because we eat home canned food that's been canned for 5 years, and it's still wonderful and tastes just as good as it was the day it was canned. So I don't know why they would say that about home canned foods unless they're just trying to help sell the the store-bought stuff. But that's the only part of this I disagreed with, was the home canned food, because they last for many years. I've ate stuff that had an 8 and 10 year date on it out of home canned goods, and they're good. There's no reason to throw anything out after a year that's home canned. Okay, another fella here, Spiro, S-P-E-R-O, he sent us a comment about the banking system, and I wanted to share that with you because it was very interesting, and these are things that you and I need to know as preppers. He said, I spent $300 shopping preps today at Walmart, but none of their empty self-checkout stations would take cash. Cards only. So I waited in one of the only 4 actual live checkout registers while those stations stood empty. Afterward, I passed by the customer service desk where a couple of clerk supervisors were standing and asked them why none of the self-checkout stations would take cash. They both told me that the bank would not give their store any cash that day. They were unable to get cash that day for whatever reason. It said to make change for the machines. They couldn't get the cash to make change for the machines that day, and it was happening with other retailers also. So apparently in that area, I don't know what area it is, they were having a struggle keeping enough cash readily available for the retail market. So the banks only want to take cash, but won't give it out in large quantities except for minor single transactions. I suppose, now this is his opinion, okay, this is an opinion piece right here. I suppose this is because the liquidity issues banks are having and are forced to borrow to maintain their liquidity to loan ratios, and that they don't want to and must reduce the outflow of actual cash to maintain those levels and stay legal and profitable. That is not only screwed up, but telling of the state of the economy and the banking system and inflation. Keep stacking it, guys. Keep stacking it to the rafters. Sandy and I listened to an article yesterday, I think it was. We was listening to somebody talking about the banking system. And somebody in our live feed this past week mentioned that they had been removed as a depositor and been now classified as an investor. And the reason they're doing that to people, and you need to check your status at your bank and see if that's happening. Once you're moved from a depositor to an investor, you're no longer FDI insured. As long as you're a depositor, you're FDI insured. Once you're an investor, you're not. As an investor, they can take your money, close the bank, and you get nothing. It's just that simple. Your money's gone. So check up on that. I would not leave a great amount of money in banks at this time. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't let anybody know I took my money out if I had a lot, which we don't. But that's just something I would really pray about really hard, and see if it's not something that I could make some changes about right there. Now, Joel said, and I mentioned a clay pot cooling system in one of our live videos of last week. It's a clay pot within a clay pot, and I didn't know the name of it, and it's called a Seer, Z-E-E-R, Seer pot. And what it is, you take a large clay pot and you put a smaller clay pot inside it, and you fill that gap between them with sand. Fill it all the way to the top with sand, and then you soak that sand with water. Depending on the size of your pot, it might take up to 2 liters of water or more. Again, it depends on the size of your pot. And then when you put your vegetables down in that pot, you take a wet cloth and lay over top of that, and it will lower the temperature possibly up to 20 degrees from where you've got it setting, whatever temperature it is. If you're indoors and it's, you know, like 70 degrees inside, it could possibly lower into the upper 40s or something like that. So that's a good way to keep a lot of your vegetables and stuff cool in the summer if you don't have access to a refrigerator. Now in Africa, they make what's called a Seer Energy Cooling Chamber. Right here's a photo of that. I found a video on it, and I wanted to throw this photo up here for you so you can see it. This is something that you could build in your backyard under your shade trees, and you could keep vegetables and fruits fresh for up to like 10 days in one of these things. In Africa, they take their vegetables, and especially the leafy vegetables, and they dip them in water, and then they lay them over in these Seer Energy coolers, and they're able to keep them fresh for up to 10 days, and that gives them more opportunities to sell at the market, especially people who are into selling and retail over there. So these are things that could be done. I do have a link to that. If you would like it, email me and I'll be glad to send it to you. Now, Preacher Man said, "Hey Charles, can we divert water from parts of the U.S. to the West? Would like to hear what you think. Also, if or when they run out of water in the West, I think all bottled water will go their way. People need to store water, and the whole U.S. needs to get on their knees and pray this drought and virus away. Bless you." Well, thank you, Preacher Man. We appreciate that comment. And I could see that happening. I could see that if they had such severe water shortages in the western part of the United States and the upper northwest there, where all these droughts are going on, I could see them sending more of the bottled water out that way, and us having a maybe a shortage on bottled water here in the eastern part of the states and the southern part of the states. I could see that possibly happening, but you know, I don't know. Maybe they could produce enough water, bottled water, in order to make up for the difference. I'm not real sure, but yeah, I could see them. They would have to ramp up their shipment of water out there. No doubt about that whatsoever. And I agree. We need to be praying every day about everything we do, including these droughts and everything else going on. So now Heidi comments quite a bit on here. If you care to follow her comments, you'll learn a lot. She's very knowledgeable about prepping and herbal use and things like that. And she said, if you have clean old bed sheets, somebody had said something about buying gauze to wrap with and to tie with and things like that. They wasn't able to find it at their store. And Heidi said, if you have clean old bed sheets, you can rip those into strips, coming out right of the dryer, as clean and hygienic as possible, and into individual Ziploc bags. Keep those in a large plastic container or tote where it does not collect dust on the items. Stuff like our grandmothers kept handy might have to do for us also. And you know, that's an excellent idea. Sandy and I have been talking that a lot of the cotton stuff that even things we wear around here, if it's cotton, when it starts wearing out, rather than throw it out, cut it up and save it for rags, because you never know when you might need a rag for a compress or something like that. And old bed sheets, thank you, Heidi, that's an excellent idea. Cut those things up, wash them right out of the dryer while they're still good and hot, right into plastic bags and into a tub for storage. Excellent idea. Keeps them clean, keeps them you know, very hygienic. So that's a really good idea there. And Bonnie, our friend Bonnie from up in New Jersey, she says, I bake from scratch, cake, pies, cookies. If any of the family here have a store called LIDL, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, Little, I guess, near you, they have canned vegetables for 45 cents, flour for $1, 5 pounds of butter for $2.08, and you can pressure can your butter just like lard and milk. I'm telling you, we've got people here that work all the time in this stuff. They keep an eye on everything, just like Bonnie here. Where can you buy 5 pounds of butter for $2? I can't buy it here in my town like that. No way. But anyway, you can pressure can this stuff. And then we've got Maria, says, I stock everything but more of the things I can't grow in my zone. Now here's something you might want to look into. If you're going to be growing a garden, I would suggest that you start out growing things that grow well in your zone, because if you start trying to grow other things that require special attention, then you may waste your time in your garden and lose part of your crop by doing that. So start out growing things that grow well in your zone, and then after you get that down, you can start experimenting with other stuff. But grow the stuff first that's going to grow well, and then what you can't grow, the things that don't grow well in your zone, buy, like Maria said here, buy the canned goods in that and stock that back of the storage, you know, the things you need. And then when you get to where you can grow that or learn to grow that, then experiment with it. But I would do that. I think that's a very good idea. Grow what you know grows well where you're at, and supplement it with canned goods or things, you know, that you may be able to vacuum seal from bags or boxes or whatever it may be. Now, Zombie 5 Dumpster Dive Mass Boy, that's a long name. He said, I believe that food cost is too high now. If you believe that food cost is too high now, just wait. I believe within a year, people won't be able to afford to buy them or feed their farm animals. You will see theft go up. People will commit robbery just for food, whether from stores, homes, or vehicles. Now's the time to go gray on all your shopping trips. That would be my suggestion. Now, when he said now's the time to go gray on all your shopping trips, someone asked, what does it mean to go gray? Well, to go gray literally means to be inconspicuous in what you do. Don't let others know what you're doing. Don't stand out in the crowd. Blend in with the crowd, or even stay away from the crowd where you're not seen. And a good suggestion to that he followed up with is shop at odd hours when not many people will be around, especially those you know. You don't want your neighbors to know that you're bringing this stuff in. When they're gone to work, do your shopping. When they're out, gone to the park, done whatever it is, if you know they're going to be gone for a little while, bring your stuff in then if it's going to be seen when you carry it from your car to your house. Just be inconspicuous. Don't be noticeable. Do things without letting people know what you're doing. And everybody needs to do that as a prepper. Nobody needs to know how much you've got at one time, ever. Don't get on YouTube or on Facebook and take a big picture of your camp pantry and brag on it and show what all this stuff you've got. Because when you do, you're the first one that they're going to come knocking on your door. I saw your pictures on Facebook, and I know you've got a pantry full of food, and we want some of it. So don't do that. Okay, Glenn, then is the last thing I'm going to say. This is a bonus. It's really not anything to do with storage food or prepping or that kind of thing. But Glenn mentioned this, and I've heard a lot of this ever since we started this pandemic thing, is follow the science. Follow the science. And I've heard that. How many times have you heard follow the science from both sides of the aisle? Follow the science. Well, and Glenn said that's a joke. Put 2 CDC doctors together and you get 3 opinions. No fear here, but I am anticipating lockdown 2.0 here once again. Thank God I'm not in the city. And you know, it depends on, and I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I don't adhere to either political party. I don't worship presidents. I don't worship parties. I think all of it's a bunch of evil. I think all the presidents all have their evil in them. Every one of them, none excluded. Same way with the Senate and the Congress. Republicans, Democrats, they're all just alike behind closed doors. You don't see what goes on with them when they close the doors. You just see what they say on TV. You do see the results of their lack of action because they're all like that. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not in the city too. But if you are, and you don't have an opportunity to get out, remember, first things first, water. You've got to have water, food, and shelter. Those three things you have to take care of, guys. You got to be able to have water. 3 days is about it for no water. Got to have water. After 3 days of no food, then starvation kind of sets in and your body starts eating up, you know. And I've done like 11-day juice fast and stuff like that, so I know that you can live without food for a while, but you can't make it without the water. You just can't make it without the water. So keep that in mind. Get water for you and your pets. Take care of your family. Be good to your family, and watch out after everybody you can. Do the best you can. And when you do that and you've done all you can do to stand, then God will supply your needs through His Son, Christ Jesus, in whom we believe. So God bless you all. We pray that your house is in order spiritually, mentally, and physically. And that being said, we'll see you guys in the next video.